and today I just wanted to talk to you about vision and purpose. To tell you a little bit about my career or my journey, I grew up in India and I went to the UK for my undergrad and master's degree. And once I finished my studies, I, like everyone around me, I wanted to get a good job. I wanted to become independent, start earning money, live in the big city. So I moved to New York on a consulting job. And a really good friend of mine, Avantika, moved to a big bank, and we both were in London. We were doing our thing, we were making good money. And what I realized was probably a year and a half in, I realized that even though I was doing well at work and had achieved whatever I thought I wanted to achieve, I wasn't really happy, or I wasn't really feeling fulfilled at work. I looked around me and I saw other people who were feeling quite disengaged at work. Most people, they're just living for the weekends. We are working 40 hours a week, but all I'm really looking forward to is what am I going to do on Saturday? What am I doing on Sunday? And I'm dreading Monday morning, and that's with all the people I lived with and with my friends. And then I was like, is this what it's supposed to be like? We spend most of our time working, we spend most of our waking hours working, and then it doesn't feel like it is going towards something that fulfills us or something that we feel is meaningful or aligns with our vision. And that's when I started to think a little more about what is the purpose behind me, behind my career, or how do I really want to spend the waking hours of my day. And that's when I came across this really inspiring talk which Oprah did at Stanford. It was a talk on life, success and leadership. And what really interested me was that she boiled all her success down to being really in tune with herself and knowing what her purpose was. There is no real doing in the world without being first. For me, your being, your presence, your connection to yourself, and that which is greater than yourself is far more important than what you do, but is also the thing that fuels what you do. So she spoke about being grounded and being so centered and in tune with yourself that you understood what your purpose was, where you wanted to make an impact, and why was that important? Why was what you're doing important? When you understand that, then everything that you do in alignment with that becomes all the more impactful. When you're running a business, when you talk with that sense of vision and purpose to your employees, they are all that more motivated because they understand where they are coming from. They're not just running behind a number or running behind a target, but they're trying to make a vision come to life. And so I actually really started to think about these questions for myself. Luckily, at this point, I had a good meditation practice going. Meditation and spirituality has been a big part of my life for the past 10, 12 years. It has helped me in every aspect, right from like when I was studying for exams, it helped me focus and learn things in a short period of time, but also when there was this big decision I had to make on what was the next step for my career, where did I want to take my career at this point. And when I really thought about it, I was like, what came to me was I wanted to help people do more meaningful work, or to make their work more meaningful, to help them find purpose and fulfillment in their wanted to go. So I decided to go to the US. I wrote my application form, got into a university, and I decided that I wanted to go to the Silicon Valley side of things because the spiritual and the mindfulness aspects there were booming alongside the startup scene there was booming. And so I went on to Yale and I went to do my MBA there. And so I would go to Yale. I'm surrounded by like 300 of the most brightest people I've ever met in my life, and what I see is that everyone is still very much in that rat race. Everyone's trying to get the most high paid job, everyone's running around for contacts and like trying to suck up to the most influential people in our network so that they can get the best job that they want. And it really made me think about, well, is that what I intended to do or with my life? And at this same time, interestingly, life happened. I decided to move to Sri Lanka because I got married to Amarnath, who's my husband, and at this point, I was like, okay, I had this big plan of, maybe going to Silicon Valley, working on a startup focused on mental health and mindfulness, bringing that into the corporate world. But now what do? I am moving country. I'm going to go to a completely new country. But there were two things which made me think about, hey, I can do this. First was like, I realized that the corporate world was probably not for me when I was looking at all the people around me and how like most companies after a certain point are only running behind like increasing shareholder profit. I realized that maybe no, I want to do something of my own which is meaningful, and that also that I could do in Sri Lanka. And that's when the whole vision for HomeTree came about. And it was a place where work was looked at differently, where we were looking more at collaboration instead of competition. And so the early vision for bringing HomeTree in was to create a space where people felt more engaged at work, where people enjoyed the space they lived in. We wanted to do something with mindfulness and work, and so co-working seemed like the best option, and it felt like a merging of two things that we wanted to bring in. Not only would we be able to create a beautiful place where people could work and do their best work, but we could also create a place where people collaborated together, they shared their passions, they did different kind of events, they co-created together in different events. And that's what's the most exciting thing about HomeTree. When we were designing HomeTree, we had this mindfulness and this like affecting your mood and helping you calm down as being a very integral part of the design process. So that's why you would see we have a lot of plants, we have a lot of inspiring art, we have different colors on the walls which will help your mood in different ways. So we see those things, but now slowly we are actually bringing in the vision of HomeTree, the vision of bringing mindfulness into the work life through our events and through our weekly classes, where we have meditation classes, we have yoga classes, we do dance, ecstatic dancing or meditative dancing, we do art, we did a great art therapy workshop. And what's amazing is that people actually get it. Now more and more people are being interested in mindfulness, and when they come to the meditation classes, they tune in and they're able to connect, and they are very honest about how they're feeling and what comes out for them. All I want to encourage you to do is to actually take that time out to think about what is your bigger why, what is the impact you want to create in your world, and then help that guide you into whatever you do in your career. Thank you. Thanks for listening.